Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
My girlfriend of the year's female 23 cheated with my and her boss male 48, and I still have to go to work with them. We both work in a small town with great jobs. However, my girlfriend is my boss's personal assistant and has been making improper jokes and flirting excessively for months, in my opinion. The man is a scumbag who is well known for cheating on married women and often brags about it. The girlfriend had been getting closer to him until 2 weeks ago when we had a huge fight about the level of touching, him rubbing her cheek, rubbing the back of her neck, kissing her forehead, etc., and agreed we would have nothing to do with him outside of work because he only lives 4 houses away and would show up for beer, dinner, etc. Skip up to last week, and I'm gone on a lad's camping trip, stressing about her and him. She swears to avoid him and to lock the vehicle so he doesn't realize she's home. During the week, he makes remarks to her about carrying my garden while I'm gone, and she tells me about it. Friday night, I left Friday morning. She went out with work buddies, and 7 of them ended returning to our place after the bars closed. While she was in the bar, he texted her, asking how she was getting home. When they arrived at my place, 2 of them immediately proceeded to the boss's house, where he lives alone, and he then contacted the girlfriend and said they could all take the party up there until 4 a.m., when everyone but the girlfriend and another female goes home. They eventually doze off on the loungers, with my girlfriend and the boss sharing a blanket. At some time, he roused her and moved her hand into his trousers, then into her blouse. They then discussed the age difference, and both indicated they were okay with it and continued on their way. The other female on the opposite sofa stirred 15 seconds after it began, and they both freaked out and came to a halt. The girlfriend got up and went to the restroom, then returned and sat back down on the sofa with him, falling asleep. The following day, she talked to me as normal and didn't say much except that they ended up drinking at his apartment, but she came home after the others departed. He tried contacting her to see what she was up to, but she had to go to work. Sunday morning, she discovered a security camera I had installed to monitor the front of the home where we park our vehicles. I honestly put it up expecting to catch him visiting. She then contacted me to say she had located it and that she had to inform me she had arrived home later than she had first said and that nothing had occurred. I learned the above after a lot of pressing and phoning the other female who was present, but it was lie after lie, and he still denies it. I called his employer at work, with whom I had a strong connection, and informed him they had cheated and that I could no longer work with him. He instructed the girlfriend not to work that day and advised her to leave it with him. I then confronted the sleazy and threatened him with finding another work since one of us had to go, and I didn't do anything wrong because he had already begun searching for other positions. It became heated till my that's were true, and he destroyed papers and sorted material, others in the workplace letting me know his actions, but didn't remove personal stuff and departed. His supervisor talked to the girlfriend again and was irritated that she had included work, and that it was a personal affair having nothing to do with him or the organization, and that defamation of character would be a serious issue if she informed anybody. He then said that my boss is a vital staff member and that there is a personal grievance procedure available, but that there are tremendous repercussions that go very deep and for a very long time, and that she should return to her usual workstation outside his office. The boss didn't return to work that week, but I'm supposed return this morning and hoping he's not there. In this area, I actually only have one job. I work in a specialized sector, and we recently purchased a very wonderful house that I adore, but if it goes bad, I lose everything. The girlfriend made all the normal pledges not to talk to him again, that it would never happen again with anyone else, and so on, but I'm just so lost right now that the work doesn't seem genuine. What should I do? Story 2. My 30 female husband 32 male impulse bought a dog. 6 years together, 3 years married so far, we've encountered very few communication problems. Before we were married, we went to a counselor who was quite helpful, not because we were experiencing problems, but to ensure that we would be able to prevent similar problems in the future. We're both childless and have been thinking about buying a dog. I grew up with them, but we travel a lot, so owning one hasn't been an option. He just accepted a job that will prevent us from traveling as much for the next year. He has just been really thrilled because he believes he is deserving of a dog. He works away from home while I work at home. I grew up with dogs, and I do miss having one. However, there are dogs that would thrive in our environment and dogs who would not. We promised to hire a trainer if we encountered any problems that we couldn't resolve on our own. I am extremely health sensitive, and this includes my pets. Certain breeds I would never acquire due of their many health risks. He brought home a bulldog puppy the other day. This is a breed that I truly despise. He's roughly 6 months old and came from a family that couldn't care for him. He already has respiratory problems and snores all day and night. He will need soft palate surgery as well as nostril enlargement. He is unable to run. He will need patellar surgery. He is just 6 months old, as I previously said. I'm quite irritated. We've had the dog for about 4 weeks, and he doesn't want to walk it much, doesn't want to clean up after it, and all he wants to do is take him to the dog park and pet shop. He enjoys it when people compliment him on how adorable he is when he snorts, the dog, not my husband. We had a heated debate over the dog. He wants to sleep in our bed with us, but I told him I'd sleep in another room. He didn't seem to mind, and the dog has been sleeping on our bed for the last 3 nights while I was in the guest room. He is calm throughout the day. He is a nice dog, he doesn't damage toys, and he is content to lay next to me all day while I work. The snoring isn't as bothersome to me, but knowing he snores because he has such difficulty breathing makes me feel so awful. But I'm furious at my spouse for acquiring a dog with so many health problems. I'm at a loss on how to handle the matter without losing my cool. Update. Thank you everyone for your kind answers. I read every remark you made. I saw an article a few months back in which a lady sat down with her husband and made a list of everything she does at home. For example, in the kitchen, take out the garbage, wash the dishes, wipe down the countertops, and so on. That method of communication resonated with me, and when we went to visit our therapist, I used the same structure to communicate how much I care for the dog. My husband said that having a dog was a collaborative effort, and that because I'm home all day, it shouldn't be an issue. It's when I realized he'd been using that as an excuse for everything. Cooking, errands, and cleaning. I'm not sure how I grew so deafeningly deaf. I'm not sure when I began bending over backwards to make room for him. We used to be a steady pair that looked out for one another. When I was still in school, he'd come over to my apartment and clean it for me during exams. Or he looked after my old cat when I was gone for a week and a half. He used to assist me with drying the dishes, which was always enjoyable. We used to have a lot of fun and laugh a lot. Everything came to a halt at some point. He became worried when I began weeping in the midst of a sentence. I'm not a crier. In fact, the only time he's ever seen me weep was when I had to put down my beloved cat a few years ago. But he hugged me for the first time in what seemed like months, and we had a meaningful conversation about how he made me feel. Not just with the dog, but also with how stressed I've been at work, how lonely I am, how I don't feel significant, and how we no longer feel like a team, that I'm concerned about us. I suppose it clicked for him since he took great care of the dog. He began arriving at work earlier so that he could come home early, hang around and cook me supper. It occurred gradually over the previous several weeks, and the pattern now fits us much better. We hired a trainer to ensure that both of us understand the dog's limits, and the dog sleeps in a dog bed. Our bedroom life has gradually returned to where it was before we married. We're resuming